Previous Elite Eights. I think we're going to get a good performance this afternoon, but we'll see.
Well, in practice, they were really dialed in yesterday. We were all there watching, and they were impressive. 19-11 coming in. Dayton winning the opening tip. They're 22-9. Alex Harris wants it on the low block. Working hard underneath. Quick give off and a foul as well on Tennessee in the opening seconds here.
There's some speed up front for Dayton and their post players, and a really good job to look at this shovel pass on the interior. That is beautifully done. So you like one that they attack right away, Carol, on their first possession.
Well, DeShields goes for that steal there on the entry pass. And when you go for steals in the half court and you don't get them, you're giving something up. And so Layfield does a good job there with that opportunistic weak side cut after DeShields missed the steal.
That's a homecoming for Layfield. She is from Louisville. 5'11" junior. Foul went on Nard, her first. DeShields with it up top, averaging 17 points. And I think she really typifies Tennessee. Foul against Dayton here. If she's locked in and she's having a great game, they can beat anybody in the country. If she's not, they can be a disaster.
Yeah, they can lose to anybody in the country. And, you know, you look at this team from a big picture standpoint, and you might argue that this is the scariest game of the tournament for Tennessee. If they're able to win in advance, they've proven they wouldn't have any problem getting up for a team like Louisville. They wouldn't have any problem getting up potentially for a team like Baylor in a Sweet 16 should they win 2 games. So this is the game that you circle and say, are they going to have the focus and the discipline needed to beat this Dayton team?
4 times they beat top 10 teams, including twice top 5, Mississippi State and South Carolina. And when Diamond DeShields wants to be, she's the best player on the floor.
Austria with a running one-hander, could not get that to go. Tennessee making their 36th appearance in the NCAA tournament. Reynolds with a nice touch. It's the only school to appear in every single NCAA tournament, and number 1 all time with 123 wins in tournament play. Burdette from the wing. Not there. Big rebound there by Nard, who takes in 7 per game. Really a heart and soul player for the Lady Vols on the attack. Flips it up there. Rebound controlled by the Flyers. Back in the NCAA tournament for the 7th time in the last 8 years. This has been an excellent program.
I think everybody remembers the Connecticut-Dayton matchup in the Elite Eight, where Dayton gets out of the gates so fast, shoots the lights out to start and put real game pressure on the Connecticut Huskies.
Burdette with a kick to Layfield, averages only about 8 points a game. Straight on to the miss by Austria. They win it back for Austria to the paint, and she'll tiptoe out of there. These two schools last met in the 2010 NCAA tournament. Tennessee won it easily, 92-64. And a fumble and taken away by Tennessee and Reynolds. Feeding DeShields with a nice stop and 2.
What a pass and catch. Yeah, pass, catch, and finish. My goodness.
Holly Warlick told us in practice yesterday that if there's an X factor with Tennessee, it's Jordan Reynolds.
Right.
And the need to play a clean game, a smart game.
Yeah, exactly. At the point guard position, obviously, you want to be getting your team into the correct offenses, getting into transition when you're able to.
Burdette again, no. She was named the most outstanding player in the A-10 tournament recently. Airborne up and in by DeShields.
So smooth. There's just not many players in the country that play with the athleticism and the grace that Diamond DeShields plays with when she's locked in. Impressive athlete.
That's a top 3 pick if she were to decide to enter the WNBA draft.
Sasha Grant Allen with a nice feed underneath for Burdette as she cashes in. That ends a 7-0 Tennessee run. Lady Vols, a team that runs hot and cold on the offensive end, shooting just 43% as a team, 35% beyond the 3-point line.
Oh, we take a look at the last couple of buckets by Diamond, and you mentioned Reynolds. Well, get your head up when you've got a player of Diamond's caliber, puts it really in the only window she could, and then on the rake and take. This is what Diamond can do. She puts such pressure at the rim, and how about that execution off the inbound?
Quick inside for Nard, and 2. Nard at 6'2", the junior from Portland, Oregon. Her dad played at Maryland. Another turnover. It's DeShields again to lay it in. She's on her way to a very big game, and a timeout for Dayton. That's a wide.
Best player on the floor.
She's been early.
Tennessee's made 5 out of their first 6 shots. DeShields with 6. Grant Allen on the high post. She's 6'5". Really tough on the offensive glass for the Flyers. Shot clock inside 10. The roll by Harris, but can't hit it. And another rebound by the Lady Vols. That's been a strength of this team all season long. Nard lets fly. Comes in averaging 16 points. Part of Tennessee's Oregon connection, along with Russell and Reynolds, 2. All from the great state of Oregon. Jumper from the wing, well short by Layfield. DeShields again bumped and knocked to the floor with 5.5 to go in the first quarter. Layfield picks up her first foul. Lady Vols, as we mentioned, a very tough team to figure out during the regular season. Early losses to Penn State and Virginia Tech. Get a couple of shots at it, but can't hit. They were blown out at home by Baylor. They were barely in that game. Later, terrific wins over number 6 Notre Dame, number 4 South Carolina. They lost Alabama twice. So up and down, really all over the map at times.
Well, we asked Holly Warlick. Sasha misses a jumper. They just can't buy a basket right now. You know, what happened after the early bow out of the SEC tournament? I said, did you give him a couple days off? She gave, no. Came right back, watched the film. There was real frustration as Nard's going to get a couple of free throws. And for Holly, you almost had a stretch, Kara, where you could have basically what amounts to a mini camp after the SEC. You have enough time. They go back to the fundamentals.
16 days. 16 days between when they lost in the SEC tournament and this afternoon's game. Back to basics and getting after it on the defensive end of the floor. That's been a staple of the Tennessee program since Pat first started there at Tennessee. And this group, that has kind of been the going up and down with waves, right? Your defense is what steadies you. And you look at great teams, and obviously the standard right now in women's college basketball is the University of Connecticut. And that gets lost a lot in Connecticut's run, is how great of a defensive team they are, how steady they are on the defensive end of the floor, and that's been this team's issue all season long.
Well, they went out and scored 116 today, so yeah, it gets lost,
yes.
doesn't it?
Yes.
Scrap for that one as it rolls out of play. Important development for Dayton, by the way. Sasha Grant Allen just left the floor with 2 fouls. She is their 6'5" post presence and a senior. This is a big early loss.
Well, especially against Mercedes Russell on the interior, 6'6". You already talked about the dominance that you can get from Tennessee.
Nard went for the theft, came up empty there. On the drive, tough angle there by Layfield. Got it back underneath the rim. Another effort by Harris won't fall. Well, they had 3 chances and could not hit anything. Tennessee, the 8-time national champs, trying to make another run under Holly Warlick, who has taken Tennessee to the Elite 8 of this tournament 3 times in her first 4 years. Talk about not giving someone enough credit. 3 times out of 4 years, you go to the Elite 8. Straight on. That won't fall. Svikovic, the 6'3" senior, with a miss.
Okay, I'd like to see a Russell touch here. You know, there are times where they go too many possessions without getting her a touch on the block. I'm okay with transition jumpers if you're in rhythm and it's early. But I'll tell you one thing about post players. You let them touch it every once in a while, they'll do whatever you need. You don't give them the basketball, and it's going to be a challenge to get them to do the dirty work.
Burdette with a foul. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. When you look at postseason coaching records in their first 5 years, Holly Warlick has been really successful in this tournament.
Right, to your point about, you know, sometimes does she get the credit she deserves? Well, obviously, if you look at through the first 4 years, obviously Pat goes to the Final Four in her 3rd year, but keep in mind, for Pat, it took her a while to break through and win the national championship. And then, okay, once she did go ahead and win 8. So Holly's been knocking at the door of those Final Fours.
And that's the next step for this Tennessee team. And And certainly you're talking about a fan base that has high expectation.
Correct.
And has a very high expectation of what they think the program should be achieving.
Here's Burdett with a jumper. That won't drop. Very capable of scoring at a high level. The save comes over to Tennessee, and the Lady Vols want to run. Nard with it.
And I think the only pressure you feel, or the restlessness you might get with your fans, great drive by Diamond, just can't get it down. The pressure comes when you lose to teams that, from a talent perspective, you think, okay, there's no way we should lose that game. You know, we've talked about the up and down nature. That's where any frustration would come in, obviously, to me.
Oh, you lose twice to Alabama. Who's the 12th best team in the conference. Not an NCAA tournament team.
Yeah, those were two of a number of bad losses for Tennessee. They wound up as a number 5 seed. Layfield kicks it. Shot clock inside 10. The long jumper from 3, and that's off target by Canatelli. It's loose on the floor. Austria wins it back, a trip. And she'll draw the foul. 2:42 left in the quarter. We'll go against Nunn, her first.
Dayton just can't buy a basket right now. That's a pretty good look for a team that shoots almost 35% from 3. And Shauna Green, I'll tell you, the one consistent thing we heard yesterday was be shot ready. And it was almost like there was frustration across her staff. You passed up shots.
With a defense by Reynolds. Dayton has missed 10 in a row. Austria, the senior, with a scoop, could not end that run. Lady Vols to push it again. Nard looking inside. Nunn with a touch. Nice spin. Yes.
Well, that's not Russell, but that's a post touch that I'm talking about, especially with Sasha Grant Allen out of the basketball game. So you don't have the same size on the floor for Dayton defensively. So give it to your posts when you don't have a transition opportunity, when you've exhausted secondary, and give them an option to go one-on-one.
Canatelli gives it up for the corner, and a traveling violation. So nothing going right now for the Dayton Flyers. Tennessee opening up the lead. The NCAA Wrestling Championships conclude tonight in St. Louis. Catch the championship at 8 on ESPN. And a special Off the Mat on ESPN3. For more, visit ncaa.com. So it's Tennessee in a 16-4 lead. And it can really put the hammer down if Nard and DeShields start making some shots. Nunn grabs it right back up and in. So a 14-point lead for the Lady Vols.
I did think if they're going to make some shots, it's got to be Burdett or Austria to maybe bail them out. Remember, Austria was on that outstanding Dayton team that gave Connecticut a good 20 minutes of basketball.
Burdett gives it up. She averages 12 a game. Wilmot lets fly and hits it. So the freshman comes off the bench. They had gone 7 minutes since their last field goal, and they had missed 11 in a row. Finally, a little bit of life for the Flyers, but still only 6 points here in the first quarter. DeShields trying to penetrate and draws the foul. 46.6 to go in the quarter. Jenna Burdett with her second foul. Some key people getting into some early foul difficulty for the Flyers.
Well, I think the challenge for Dayton's perimeter, we've seen them a lot in the zone, in the 2-3 zone, is when you're on an island one-on-one against a player like DeShields or even Reynolds, who has the ability to break it down, can you do it? Can you slide? Can you cut them off? And those are two very difficult players to keep in front. Diamond, certainly, when she's aggressive, is one of the hardest in the country.
And it really does come down to, I don't care if you're in a zone, it does come down to your individual abilities as a defensive player.
DeShields makes 79%. Very smooth at the line there.
And you're always judging, right? So you're always judging your matchup. When you're offensively, you have somebody that you feel like you've got a little more foot speed than, or you can get by them. Man, you're going to attack. You're going to be aggressive.
Zvikovic with a pass on the baseline. Tough catch by Austria. Here's the launch from the corner, and the three-pointer will go down. Schaaf out of the corner, the 5'10 freshman. She was named to the A-10 All-Rookie team. They really needed that. 20-9 Tennessee. Middleton. DeShields with a pull-up jumper, and it spins out.
You see her ability to shot create every touch, though?
Very few in the game can do that. Shave of the buzzer. It will not drop. And Tennessee, after 1 quarter of play, as a senior member of the band. He has no eligibility left. DeShields with it up top for Middleton. Tennessee now swings to Nard and can't hit it. And taken away by Canatelli, the 5'8" sophomore. As the Flyers look to get a run going. Middleton in transition. Tennessee trying to win their 20th game of the season. It's Nunn on the low block inside. No. Battling for the rebound and tapped out of play off of Dayton. And Alex Harris coming back on, and so is Tennessee's Mercedes Russell at 6'6".
Good job battling by Svitovich on the interior. Looked like Shaq had her buried.
Gonna have to hustle for this one, and kicked out of play by Jackson.
That's a not top 10 possibility right there.
I would agree. So would Holly Warlick. Not how she drew this up.
Well, the good news is it's Saturday, so you got a lot of days before Friday for others to step up.
Underneath free, and it's Harris for 2.
Now, she's got quick feet, and obviously if you're taking on size as she is, you've got to find a way to be creative. It just uses her dribble and her speed to get around and get separation.
Skate picking up the assists. Here's DeShields on the wing. Russell with that touch. Strong on the baseline. She'll draw the foul.
When they're patient in the half court, and we saw Nunn get a ton of touches when she was in the game, and all I'm thinking when she's catching the basketball is, why aren't they doing this when Russell's in the game? How does Nunn have more touches than Russell in less minutes? And some of that is a function of who you're playing with. And I think Jackson has come in and done a good job at looking into the paint and getting her post players some touches.
Russell with another one coming, 67%. 6'6" junior tied for the tallest lady ball in the history of their program.
Just missed it.
And it's always about, for her, it was always about health, right? I mean, she came in with issues.
Yeah.
Well, kind of a wild flip up there by Austria, but she gets it to go. So a bit of a run here for Dayton as the second quarter gets underway. 21-13 Tennessee. Well, they move it beautifully, but the short jumper won't fall by Nard. She's had a cold start here in Louisville this afternoon. Canatelli on the dribble. She can really light it up off the bench, and a foul. Back on February 1st at Davidson, Lauren Canatelli poured in 27. She hit 7 threes. Nard with her second foul.
Well, she's their most productive three-point shooter, she and Kelly Austria. So you know her job is to come in and make shots.
On the bounce and the foul. DeShields wanted a tie-up, but she gets hit with a personal.
So maybe Dayton has settled into the game just a bit.
Andy Svitovich at the line, the 6'3" senior from Croatia, who played for her homeland on the Croatian 18 and under national team. Has not attempted many foul shots this season. That was just her 7th, and she's made 4. Another one coming with just over 8 minutes to go here before halftime. And misses the pair. Jackson with a quick jumper very early in the shot clock. Another one by Nunn. Boy, she's really working hard under there.
Yeah, she's been great. She's been great finishing, and now when Tennessee has this 2-post player two post players in, two low block players in. I think that's a challenge for Dayton in the back of their zone because one of the helpers is going to be a wing player, depending on what side you go to post up.
Reynolds, oh, how about that pass? Nunn blocked from behind. Boy, Dayton got down there and blocked the shot. That was as slick a pass as you're going to see all day.
Boy, you don't have a big window. That was a tremendous catch, but you love the hustle play of Harris to get back and negate that. And one of the things I think that's happened to Dayton is you've gotten out of your rotation quickly because of the foul trouble. And to Kara's point, the matchups are now skewed because of that foul trouble.
Austria, the A-10 Defensive Player of the Year with it. Canatelli getting some important minutes here at an important juncture of the game as that one is knocked out of play by Tennessee.
See, and I think one of the things Dayton has to do here, and one of the things our coaching staff talked to him about yesterday was, we got to get to our second or third reversal. You can't challenge Tennessee off the initial looks of your offense.
Austria slamming on the brakes. Shot clock down to 3. Canatelli on the drive. Scooped it, but no, and it never got to the rim.
We've got to give Tennessee's defense some credit for it. Right now, they're getting in a stance. They're prohibiting dribble drive. And if you think you've got an angle, you're trying to score over them. And that's just exactly what you want to do. Make them score over you without fouling.
Kara, what's happened with Tennessee? They started out hot, 5 for 6, 3 for 15 since then.
Well, some of this is also when you're subbing in your rotation. And they go through periods where they only play 7 players, but when Nard is out of the game or Reynolds isn't in at the point guard position, their offense is a little bit different. It's not as smooth. And, you know, Reynolds, although she's not one of their big 3, she settles them, she gets them in the right stuff. And so I think when she was out, they weren't as smooth on the offensive end.
Off with the bounce in the lane. Harris, nice athletic move.
I'm telling you, she's got the speed. That's 6'3", really fast feet. So one thing I'd say about both their post players.
Now Dayton was getting blown out of this building not long ago. They're right back in the game. 6 minutes to go in the first half. Tennessee needs an answer and a hot hand. The Shields, that one barely gets the iron. She has cooled off quickly. Now the Flyers look like the hot team. Layfield bouncing downstairs. That one's going to roll off the iron by Wilmot. Well, she got everything she wanted except the make.
That's not a great shot by Jordan Reynolds. Nobody else touched the basketball once it crossed half court. Just got to make better decisions right now. Second quarter, Tennessee is just 1 for 8.
Dayton trying to take advantage. Creeping to within 8. Up high, Harris. Austria took a little bump there. Shot clock has dwindled down to 3. Canatelli and stolen away as Mercedes Russell comes away with it.
About 6'6", making a switch on the perimeter. How about that, Mercedes Russell?
Middleton getting ready to check back in for Tennessee. Nunn to her right. Tough shot, difficult angle, and she knocks it down. So back up to 10 for the Lady Vols. The winner takes on host Louisville on Monday night. We'll have that game for you, of course, every game of the Women's NCAA Tournament on ESPN. Inside off the window, smooth shot by Wilmot.
That's 2 really nice-looking post moves.
Now the clean look. Can't bury that. And a foul underneath here with 4:01 to go. That'll go against Dayton. Well, they have recovered, making some shots here in the second quarter to close the gap against Tennessee. Women's championship. Kansas State and Drake. Stanford moving on. A tussle for Stanford, though, in that first half. By the way, Austria, Grant Allen, and Burdett for Dayton, all with 2 fouls.
And those are their 3 leading scorers.
Lady Balls with it,
So
trying to add to their lead.
Yeah, you're going to try to survive this final 4 minutes here if you're Dayton.
Russell, a couple dribbles down, got too close. Underneath the backboard with that effort. Dayton, a 12 seed, 22 wins, 9 losses. Winning a share of the A-10 regular season crown. Then they took the conference tournament. Very successful year for the Flyers. Shot clock at 8. Canatelli. And a foul. Middleton with some contact there, and that's a personal on Alexa Middleton first. Middleton started the last 8 games, Tennessee.
I'm impressed with Jordan Wilmoth from Dayton because, again, their matchups are skewed. She scored on the interior. She's the one who made that defensive play to challenge the size inside. She has given them good minutes.
Middleton, some tough defense there. The entry for Harris, yes.
That's too easy. That's too easy if you're Russell. Find some space, give her some space, and utilize your length. Be careful getting body to body. She's shown the ability to spin off and utilize her quickness to get by you.
You had the feeling their staff, didn't you, Dave, yesterday? Felt like the athleticism of their interior players could be an advantage for them?
They thought that was the case. Way downtown, Jackson in and out. Dayton started 1 for 16 shooting it. They're 7 for their last 13 since then. Way downtown, Wilmoth then knocks it in.
I mean, I'll tell you what, that kid has played. This is a kid who's averaging 7.5 minutes per game. And look at her teammates react to it.
Offensive end of the floor. And Wilmoth came into the basketball game and it gave them a lift. Scaife came into the basketball game, another freshman, and gave them a bucket. Those 2 players have been key for this turnaround.
These games presented by Capital One, of course. Here in Louisville, game number 2. Louisville has already advanced to the second round. Underneath, Russell is free for 2.
It's pretty easy when you sub the Shields and Nard back into the game. I thought Nard's time on the bench was a little bit lengthier than it should have been, with Tennessee going into a little bit of a rut there.
Well, they're going to get Mimi Jackson for that foul. Trying to chase down Canatelli. That'll be her first. I think what's doubly impressive about Dayton coming back here is the fact they have so many key people who have been dogged by fouls and able to really make a run here, get hot from beyond the three-point line as well. Way downtown, knocked in by Scaife, the 5'10 freshman. And don't look now, but Dayton is within 2.
Now, we expect that from Scaife because you're talking about an all-rookie team performer. As somebody who's been a key contributor the entire year. Wilmoth, it's a little bit more out of the box.
Reynolds off to Nard. She's had a cold hand. Jackson, the shot clock at 8. Can't hit it. Now Dayton with an opportunity to take the lead on this possession against Tennessee. And a collision and a whistle with exactly a minute to go before halftime. Jackson with her second. And coming up, the Northwestern Mutual halftime report. Number 13, Florida Gulf Coast in Miami. Details on Drake and Kansas State, the 10-7 game.
I'm not giving you any updates on Drake. You can ask, I'm not telling.
Every time you say Drake.
Without fail.
And they've had such a great year.
Yes. Jackson going to the bench with her second. And that'll roll in. Nice touch by Layfield.
This took some mental toughness on the part of Dayton to get off to the shooting start they did. And playing a program like Tennessee with all of their history and winning and success. Big time mental toughness.
Shields with a pull-up pop and nails it.
Boy, whether she's creating for herself or her teammate on the last possession, how easy is it?
She went for the theft, knocked out a play by DeShields. 12 points, 3 rebounds for Diamond. But they may need them all just to escape the first half of the lead. In play for Canatelli, who's really done a nice job running their point. Layfield. Escape with it, just hit a long three. And knocked out of play again by a very active Diamond DeShields with 12 on the shot clock.
One of the things I feel like Shauna Green's team has done here in the latter stages of this half has been there's been better spacing. And they talked about that all day yesterday.
29-27 Tennessee. When they were in blowout mode in the first minutes of this game, especially the way Dayton was struggling to shoot it. Canatelli down to 8 on the shot clock. She'll drive it. Wild flip up there and a foul on the play. That's a big time bailout. There was 1 second on the shot clock at the point of the foul. That's Middleton with her second. So 15.9 seconds before the break. Canatelli, an excellent foul shooter, 87%. The sophomore from Cincinnati. And this to tie it up once again right before halftime.
You got to stay locked in now. You want to try to prohibit a score. See, I was just going to say, you might want to push up. You don't want to let them have as much clock as necessary.
DeShields on the wing for Middleton. Around the back. Off the iron, no, and the first half is over.
Of scorers for that entire first half. When you talk about Grant Allen, Burdette, and Austria that were in foul trouble. So now maybe are they settled in, and is Dayton ready to make a run?
Harris quickly on the other end has put them in the lead.
So Tennessee comes right out with an aggressive trap. What happens, you step through it, and you understand that somewhere on the floor, somebody's open.
The first Dayton lead since it was 2-1 in the opening minute of play. And Tennessee, the number 5 seed, has quite a battle on their hands. Russell backing down in close for 2. Remember, Dayton started out stone cold. Then they came back and caught fire, and they're still on fire. Layfield lays it in.
They're just smart. She goes opposite because 6'6" is meeting her on the strong side, so makes the right read.
But that's two blown coverages by Tennessee right out of the gates. As you see Russell with a nice jump hook there. It's missing an assignment out of the track, not protecting the basket, and then in transition, not being alert.
Dayton played a regular season filled with Power 5 opponents. They whipped the former national champ Texas A&M by 17. They beat a Big Ten opponent, Wisconsin, by 19. They also played UConn. They lost that game by 33, but they had them on the schedule. Burdette, nice job changing directions and laid in by Grant Allen.
Well, how about all of their points here in the second half, Dayton, and quick strikes coming in the paint?
Bears repeating that Tennessee only once in their legendary history has lost in the first round of this tournament. Russell takes the foul. Mercedes Russell will go to the line. Grant Allen with the personal, and that's her third. 21-8 all time in the first round of the NCAA tournament. The only loss in round 1 to Ball State in 09. Russell, 67% shooter, but drains the first one. And again, Grant Allen with 3 going to the bench. She's been in trouble pretty much from the get-go.
To me, this is where you have to understand your value. You know, she's trying to make the point that she's straight up. She wasn't straight up. She was leaned over.
Russell smooth there at the line. The 6'6" junior. Pressure here from Tennessee, but Dayton breaks that. Burdette will set it up. She's playing with 2 fouls. Trying to get it inside for Harris. On the attack, Layfield, and take it away. And it'll be Tennessee ball.
Oh, what a defensive play here by Reynolds. I mean, this is not easy. When you're already beat, just let him go by a little bit, and that gives you a better angle to block that shot. That's just a great individual play there by the point guard.
So we are tied at 35 here, opening minutes of the third. Russell with the feet in the baseline and knocked in by Nard.
That's a beautiful play. You're overloading the side of the zone, and you put the defense in a dilemma because the shooter's in the corner. You got two post players. They didn't have anybody to match.
Burdette, lightning quick drive, but no finish. Reynolds bouncing. Nard trying to get going, and that's a blocking foul. And are they going to target Jamie Nard a bit here in the third quarter? Tennessee appears to be trying to do that. Svikovich with the foul.
And absolutely, that's a block. And I love the attack by Nard. And I think this is something that Nard can do more of. Now, she's their power forward defensively because of her size. She's really a perimeter player, but she defends power forwards. And one of the hardest things to do is to account for a power forward that brings the ball up in transition or who gets out on the wing in transition, because typically it's a post player defending and they're not used to being the one that stops the ball. And that can get a transition defense confused and in a bad rotation. So I love when she attacks in transition.
There's a ruggedness to her. That frame belies a physical and mental toughness that Jamie Nard brings to the table every night. You can make the case she's been the most consistent player for Tennessee all year.
Tennessee with a mini 6-0 run to get back on top, 39-35. Burdette trying to take advantage of that screen, but around and out. Harris with a big rebound. Athletically, she's one player who can really stick with Tennessee.
She has been impressive.
Averaging 6 points, but 8 rebounds a game. Fresh shot clock here. Austria in the corner.
She's double-digit boards because she understands we've lost one of our best offensive rebounders in Schaquilla all night.
Austria in for Harris to the right side and draws the foul. So they are obviously targeting Alex Harris, the 6'3" junior from Ohio. Outstanding rebounder. Although occasionally she can score. She had 15 against Texas A&M, 18 in the A-10 tournament. She'll be at the line here to shoot. 6.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. And knocks down the first. Second round coverage of the men's basketball championship continues today on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. For more information on game times and listings, go to ncaa.com. Nard with her third foul. So she's in some trouble. Jamie Nard to the bench. We talked about Grant Allen in her own foul trouble on the Dayton side. Mercedes Russell, nothing there. Back for Middleton. Swinging into the paint and the foul.
Wow, you could have used, she puts her left hand on the defender's hip on the initial part of that move.
Wilmoth picks up her first. Russell at 6'6" to the line. 67%. Especially for a big, that's respectable. I was listening to a clip from Tommy Heinsohn the other day talking about why bigs shoot foul shots so poorly. Legendarily, back to, before Will Chamberlain and Shaq and a lot of other people. And his point was, one of the problems is smaller people, little people, are the ones who teach them to shoot foul shots. So he says, get a big to show somebody who knows how to shoot them. So can really hit them.
Get a poor free throw shooter to show.
It's tougher than we think it is. Tough rebound underneath and right back up and then the stick back by Layfield.
I think it's just an excuse. Because I know plenty of bigs that shoot free throws well.
You do?
Yes.
Dirk Nowitzki.
Dirk Nowitzki. Yao Ming shot free throws well.
Yeah.
The Gasol brothers.
I think we can all name some. But it looks awkward when a lot of them shoot them. No question about that. There's a lot of parts to put together. Mercedes Russell in close. Denied there. Harris with another rebound. Back inside. Short that time. And a foul over the back by Wilma. She'll pick up the personal. And she's in some pain right now. She went down hard after committing that foul. 5:21 to go in the third. So Shauna Green out to talk with one of her stars. Wilmoth, a 6'3" freshman with number 2. She is out of Chestnut Ridge, New York. So at least at the outset, she'll be attended to. They're actually looking at her knee, her right knee. Svetkovic is now in the game to replace Wilmoth, the 6'3" senior from Croatia. Diamond to Shields. Stop there. Back for Middleton. Trying to penetrate. Tumble there, and down she went.
See, one official looked like she was going to signal a travel, and they're going to have a little conference, and instead it's going to be the baseline official saying foul.
Svetkovic picks up the foul. That'll be her third.
I mean, to me, that's not a foul. She trips over her own feet. And see, that's to me where the sideline official, if you had the better glimpse, say it.
Middleton good at the line, 79%. 5'9" junior out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, makes 1 of 2. So it remains a tight one here in the third quarter. But Burdett with a blow by, but Mercedes Russell denies her. 4:54 to go, and we have a timeout. Tennessee with the lead, but a slim one over Dayton.
You referenced the youngest team ever. How many new players they had, but that was an uneven campaign for Pat Summitt and the Lady Vols that season. A little bit like this season has been uneven for Tennessee in terms of they had some quality wins, but they also had some questionable losses.
There's a great piece that came out on the Players Tribune today, and Holly Warlick in the piece basically says, I inherited a lot. How do you fill those shoes? Pat Summitt is a basketball icon who not only built a championship program, but she made it known the world over. Those are ginormous shoes.
Isn't that the truth? And so many of us miss her very much. This time of the year, I find myself missing Pat even more. Here's the Shields with a jumper, and she's getting hot now. She's made back-to-back shots.
You can't let her come on and beat it up the floor, because that's, you know, she's going to get into her rise and fire so quickly. Make her at least change direction, and you can build a little bit of a wall to stop Diamond.
Austria with the kick. Svetkovic in and out. By the way, on the men's side, how about Wisconsin upsetting Villanova 65-62. The defending national champs are out of the tournament. Big rebound. Nunn draws the foul. She's been real active when she's got minutes.
She might be the player of the game so far for Tennessee. When you look at the impact she's had coming into the basketball game, finishing one-on-one, and then giving them extra opportunities on the offensive glass. I mean, Nunn has been Johnny on the spot in terms of scoring the basketball. She's got 8 and 8. I mean, 8 points, 8 rebounds.
Fifth-year senior transfers over from Winthrop.
Made a handful of starts at a great game against Alabama in a loss. 15 points, 15 rebounds.
How about she doesn't pick up basketball until she's 17 years old as a senior in high school? I want to talk about self-made and figure it out. That's Shaq Nunn.
1 of 2. Both teams are good at the foul line here today. Tennessee's 15 out of 20. Dayton's 8 for 10. The 3 won't fall.
See, you get out, you know, you don't have Sasha Grant Allen and Svetkovic. If you're going to contribute, it's got to be on the 3-ball.
Nunn had a layup to make right there. Just mishandled that pass. So she'll come out. And Nard back in.
What a great look. She's trying to shoot it before she caught it. She knows it.
It's had a really fine day, though. Nard is back in the game with 3 fouls.
I love how Holly handles that. Kind of taps her on the back, smile on her face. All right, because what are you going to do? The kid's already upset.
She knows, yep.
Taken away on the theft. Look at the Shields keep her footing. Whips the pass, but a traveling violation.
That's just a case of trying to do too much. I mean, you had the 2-on-1. Yeah, there was someone closing you in the back here, but just drop it. Drop it to Nard right there, and she's got an easy layup. Even if you execute that pass, you've made it a more difficult layup.
There are times watching her play, I think that she tried to do too much because she can.
Yes.
She's got so much available to her in her game that sometimes she doesn't really know where to go. That one's going to be tipped out of play off Dayton, so they turn it over. And Shauna Green's team getting a little bit sloppy.
You can see how frustrated she is. They just make the simple play. You got to give credit to Jordan Reynolds. She's out and deny. She's putting all kinds of pressure. She's prepared to sink and recover.
Well, Tennessee with a 6-point lead. This game was tied at halftime. Tennessee had as high as a 14-point lead in the first half, and they throw it away.
Neither team really sharp right now.
Coming down the stretch of the third quarter here in Louisville, another turnover. Mimi Jackson by herself to lay it in.
Now, do you get Scaife out? You know, just a silly young mistake right there. And I think Austria is going to get up and off the bench quickly.
She is ready to check back in for Dayton. They need her. A 7-0 run and a whistle. And Tennessee wanted a tie-up on the play. And that's what they'll get. And a possession arrow. So the Lady Vols win it back, leading by 8.
And coach's point is we had the timeout before the jump ball call, but officials disagree.
Well, truly one of the bright young coaches in the game, Shauna Green in her 30s. What a future for her as Dayton in the tournament again, which is commonplace for the Flyers. What is not commonplace is they've turned it over 4 straight times. On the entry, Russell just lost it. Out of play it goes, and back over to the Flyers.
This is bad basketball right now.
On both sides.
Yep.
Both coaches are frustrated. The road to the Frozen Four ice is up tomorrow with a 2017 NCAA Hockey Selection Special. That's presented by Northwestern Mutual at noon on ESPNU and watch ESPN.
Got to find a way to get a basket right now if you're Dayton, and you would think it's Burdette, Austria, or Alex Harris. Because Svikovich has had a couple open shots.
Burdette smokes everyone but can't connect. These teams have combined for 8 turnovers in their last 9 possessions. That's going to be an offensive foul. So Nard going down with what looks to be her 4th, and it is number 4 on Jamie Nard.
I think it's a good call.
I think it's pretty obvious.
Yep.
Minute 40 left in the third. So out she goes. And usually in a close game, that's the player Tennessee wants to have handle the ball and be at the foul line. Austria straight on, too strong.
Got the right people taking the shots, though. Burdette and Austria on consecutive possessions.
Reynolds will set up a play now. Time beginning to run out in the third quarter. Here in Louisville at the Yum Center, where earlier today host Louisville cruised to a round 1 victory. And down it goes for DeShields.
Just such an easy shot creator. Just the game comes easy to her. What a talent.
Her platform doesn't even have to be level.
No.
I mean, she can go off of either foot in terms of her explosion.
Austria from the corner, no.
Remarkable. So I think you slow it down here for Tennessee. You got the 10-point lead. You've got an end-of-the-clock player in DeShields, or you work to get it into Russell. But to me, don't come up and take poor shots like you did in the second quarter there, because time, even though there's 10 minutes left, time's on your side.
Jackson with a very sloppy pass, and the block by DeShields as that one goes out of play.
I think they're going to get her for a foul.
I think they are. 25.6 to go, and indeed, that'll be a foul on DeShields. With the body, I guess.
On the way down?
Block first.
Yeah.
Block was certainly first. Austria, good foul shooter, 85%.
I'm an excellent official on the second look at the play.
The second slow-mo look on the player.
I don't even get it right on the super slow-mo half the time.
Sometimes it's hard.
It's a tough job.
Yep. Definitely a tough job.
Austria, the A10 Defensive Player of the Year. Second team All-Conference. She has scored over 1,000 in her career. Now a senior. Trying to keep on playing to Monday. Tennessee with it. Shot clocks are off here in the third. Reynolds calls a play. 10 seconds left in the third. Reynolds will fire. Can't drain the three. That's the end of three quarters. Not much happened there, but Tennessee with a 51-42 lead as we go to the fourth quarter at Louisville.
The top division women's basketball teams are heading to a city near you. Be there to share the experience with your family and friends as teams compete for a spot in the women's Final Four. It's the 2017 NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship Regionals, March 24th through 27th. Visit NCAA.
Balls can ice a victory in the first round, staving off an upset. Shauna Green and Dayton trying to make a comeback now and get hot again.
Let's see, can Grant Allen make her presence felt? She spent much of the afternoon in foul trouble.
Here's Burdett 1 for 10 before that make. But a big make here right out of the gate for Dayton in the fourth quarter.
Well, just perfect execution off what is essentially a timeout at the end of quarter.
So Tennessee by 7. But a tough shooting day for Burdett. That one's short, but she'll take back the rebound. Again, these teams have not met since the 2010 NCAA tournament, which was an easy win for the Lady Vols, 92-64. This has been a much different contest. Austria stumbled a bit, kept the dribble. Flips it up there and won't go for her.
Boy,
and Nunn with another rebound.
what a tough day for her. Just 2 for 9 and combined with Burdett, 1 for 10. Your best players have had a really tough day.
DeShields drawing to contact as she goes in strong. Foul will be on Alex Harris. Number 2 on the junior. So it'll be Diamond DeShields at the line. She makes 79%. Named to the All-SEC first team by the coaches. 17 points a game, 7 rebounds. Mercedes Russell and Alexa Middleton back on the floor now for the Lady Vols. DeShields tended to have her best games against top competition. She had 20 and 6 and 4 assists, 3 blocks against Notre Dame, 21 points against Kentucky, 20 at Mississippi State, big win on the road.
She's got every skill to be a big-time star in the WNBA to me. Can create her own shot. Can score at all 3 levels. You know, picks her spots obviously from distance, but what a special talent.
Austria putting on a break. Shot clock at 7 for the Flyers. Burdett swinging the pass inside for a big, and getting it to go is Grant Allen. Now free to run the floor. She's off the bench. 53-46. Nunn was calling for it. Going in strong to her left. No. Russell grabbing the rebound on a tie-up. Possession arrow will stay on this end of the court. So Tennessee will keep it with 8 minutes to play.
I thought that was a really good possession for Dayton defensively. I mean, Layfield bottled up DeShields on the baseline there. That's not an easy thing to do. And then made that shot for Nunn. Really, really tough. Nice pass by Diamond.
And Russell gets it done underneath, but a terrific pass.
Shot creator for herself and others. And she's got potential, star potential in the WNBA. Top 3 pick?
I think so. I think so. I would have Plum up there too.
No doubt.
Kelsey Plum, a great scorer, and 11 to get off a shot now for Burdett. Russell is all over her and knocked it away. Reynolds around the back, and now will hold up and wait for her teammates. Tennessee with a 55-46 lead, looking to add to that here in the fourth quarter. Reynolds will take her time now. Nunn up top. Tennessee going with two bigs. The Shields wanting to find somebody in that lane, and a foul against Dayton.
She sees the game quickly, Diamond. And the touch pass, how quickly that, I mean, it was barely in her hands and she pushed it off.
Austria picked up her third foul with just over 7 minutes to go, and Russell with a miss.
Yeah, that's a blessing and a curse, right? The blessing is you see the game quickly and you're able to anticipate. And the curse is that the people you play with aren't always able to do the same. And so that can lead to frustration. And so the challenge to be a great player is to not get frustrated and to slowly bring them along to be able to see what you see, or be able to at least handle what you're about to do next.
And understand that some people may never get there.
Yes.
Kelly Austria getting it inside for Kelly. That's a spin move she likes, but not this time. The Shields, look at that pass to Nunn, and she made it, and she'll be at the line. But the pure athleticism and creativity of that pass was something to see.
That's what I'm talking about, the ability to see ahead of the play, right? So she's already got an understanding of where that trail is coming from. And the fake to the interior is simply to sink that defense in and make the pass.
It sets it up.
Yeah.
It sets it up. It's a great play.
Well, Tennessee will have it with 6:44 to go. Alex Harris just picked up her third foul moments ago for Dayton, so she's in some trouble. 58-46. If you missed the early minutes of the game, it looked like Tennessee was going to run away and hide because Dayton couldn't hit a shot. Then they started to make them in bunches. Russell fires it, can't hit. And since then, it's been a fairly close game. In fact, at halftime, it was tied at 29. Layfield on the baseline, back out for Burdett. Grant Allen wants it. Boy, Russell really playing great defense in the lane here the last several trips down. And Reynolds on a slow walk, the 5'11" senior. One of typically just 7 who get into the game for Tennessee. The Shields, yes.
Come on.
That was a thing of beauty. We've been under 6 minutes to play here at Louisville, and Tennessee has opened up a 14-point lead. Not the first time today that's happened, but Dayton needs a hot hand, and they're not getting it, Doris, from the two top players at this point.
Well, they are combined 4 for 21. And I just heard Maria right, that Florida Gulf Coast on the road in Miami is in a ball game.
Yes.
Wow.
Tennessee with the ball. Mercedes Russell's had a big day, 14 points, 10 rebounds. Her 18th double-double of the year and the 29th of her career. Reynolds looking for the Shields. Outside the three-point line with 7 to get off the shot. She wants to take it, gave up the dribble. Great pass underneath, but off the hands of Nunn and out of play.
Oh my God. How many players in the country can make that pass? She never really kind of had a good handle on the basketball. Had to scuffle because the defense was pretty good by Layfield, but my goodness.
You know, there are pieces to...
And where's she going? Heading back to the locker room.
Running down the tunnel. You know, a couple of times I have seen her grimace out here in the second half. You have too, Kayla. I know that. I know that at this point in the game, she's played a ton of minutes. Knocked out of play, and Dayton will keep it. We're going to take another timeout. 4:56 to go.
That.
Yes. Frankly, I think she probably ought to have about another 2 or 3 assists.
Oh,
Passes that were mishandled. By the way, she's back to the bench on the Tennessee side, but not ready to check back in the game. Dayton trying to make a run here, a tie-up, and they will have the possession arrow. Tennessee with a 14-point lead. And DeShields taking a seat on the Tennessee bench. She has played 33 minutes so far today. The inbounds for Grant Allen almost made it, but she'll be at the line. So a little less than 5 minutes remaining possibly in the season for the Dayton Flyers. The winner will move on to take on Louisville, the host team, on Monday night on ESPN. Grant Allen, a 68% foul shooter. Russell just picked up her first foul. Tennessee has a couple of players who have reached double-double status. And Schaquilla Nunn's another one with 11 points and 12 rebounds.
Yeah, I think she's been terrific off the bench. And remember, Jamie Nard has been saddled with foul trouble pretty much the entire game. Picked up 2 in the first half, picked up 3 early in the third quarter. And Nunn has given them a post presence. She's given them some physicality in terms of rebounding the basketball. She's been a great substitution for this Tennessee team this afternoon.
Doris has left our booth spot here, a foul on the court, and she is heading over to check on the status of Diamond DeShields, who left the game a few minutes ago and raced right down the tunnel to their locker room, and now is re-entering the game. So a great sign for Holly Warlick and Tennessee. She's had a marvelous game. Layfield just picked up her third foul for Dayton, and a kick ball with 4:43 to go. Louisville really passed the ball exceptionally well in their first round victory over Chattanooga today. And another kick. Doris, what did you find out?
Well, Carol Lawson was correct. Sometimes you just got to go.
Sometimes you just got to go. It happens. Sometimes you can't wait.
That was it?
Yes, you can't wait.
Okay. I mean, I'm all for that. I'm a married man. I know exactly.
I know that feeling when it's time to go to the bourbon bar.
Yes. Well, grateful that that's all that was.
Doris in the bourbon bar. Good luck checking that.
Nunn downstairs for 2 more, adding to her double-double. We come up on the 4-minute mark, and Tennessee in gear, 62-48. Jump shot by Layfield will land.
Plenty of time here, obviously. It's only a 12-point deficit. You've got to string together, and if you're the coach, you're just saying, hey, stop, score, stop. Let's just go at it in a couple minute stretches here. Stop, score, stop.
Middleton trying to lean in. Austria denied her. She's a tremendous defender. A-10 Defensive Player of the Year. So there's that stop. Now can the Flyers heat up here? Down by a dozen. Burdette, the lane opening up. That falls out. And another tie-up on the play. Possession arrow will belong to Tennessee.
Look at that face, boy. Wow, is that the face of frustration? She simply cannot believe it.
She's 2 for 14.
My goodness. And I'll tell you, the floor was spread. That's a play they run all the time. It's a drive she gets all the time. And boy, oh boy, you just can't get an easier opportunity.
Well, she's a much better shooter than she's been able to show today. DeShields with another athletic play. Zips the pass up to Russell. There are like 3 or 4 times a game you have to pause and just marvel at Diamond DeShields. And we've been able to do it, I think, more than that today.
Been a lot of fun, boy.
Reynolds keeping the dribble. High off the window, no. Nunn with another rebound. And a whistle with 3:02 to go. And foul will go against Alex Harris of the Flyers. That's her 4th tonight after wrestling on ESPN. Kevin and Nicole coming your way. Sports Center at night. They'll break down the men's and women's tournaments, plus the NBA, NHL, MLB spring training, and more. Sports Center at night coming your way. Nunn back to the line. A 66% foul shooter. Off the iron there, 63-50 Tennessee. Still an opportunity here for Dayton if they can string some shots together. Austria, good place to start, and scoops it in.
You want to be careful if you're Tennessee. Sometimes you can get into a little bit of a malaise if you're a team with a double-digit lead and you're trying to bleed the clock a little bit, and that gets you into being a little bit groggy as a team. So they need to be careful now. On the offensive end, you're holding weight, but on the defensive end, don't lose your aggressiveness.
You're giving Holly Warlick a heart attack over there with the passes at this point.
The Shields very determined in the paint, but no. Burdett was at a miserable day shooting it. Layfield downstairs for Harris. The scoop won't go. She went down to whistle. So it's Tennessee by 11, under 2 minutes to go here in Louisville. Reynolds out near midcourt. Shot clock at 5. Reynolds gets open. Can't stick it though. Loose ball, a battle for that. Nice job by Nunn to get out of there with it. And a new shot clock for the Lady Vols.
That's Nunn's 14th rebound. 14 rebounds off the bench.
I'd say for Tennessee, player number 1 has been Diamond DeShields. Number 2 has been Nunn. Two most valuable Lady Vols today. DeShields will take the hit in the act of shooting it. She'll be at the line.
See, when they come down the possession, I know Jordan's a point guard, but I would rather have the ball in Diamond's hands.
She'll be shooting 2, Layfield's 3rd foul. And the junior from Norcross, Georgia. Can't hit the first one. And Lauren Canatelli, who is a dangerous three-point shooter for the Flyers, will be brought into the game by Shauna Green for one purpose only. DeShields with the second one. Made 1 of 2. Back up to a 12-point advantage for Tennessee. Burdett nearly fumbled it away. Into the backcourt, scooped up by Dayton. 1 minute to go. Layfield launching that, but too strong.
So Louisville, Tennessee on Monday.
Yes.
We'll get the tip time shortly, we hope.
Number 4 against number 5. A whistle stops the clock with 46.8 to go. Canatelli's first foul. That's what many here in Louisville were anticipating, that matchup.
Well, we talked to Jeff Walls, and I mentioned, possible second-round matchup, and he said, yes, I'm answering or asking the same question everybody else is. Which Tennessee am I going to get? And there was a point, first quarter, second quarter, where I thought that encapsulated their season.
Yeah.
You got the best and worst of Tennessee.
Tennessee was up 20-9 after the first, and the score was tied at halftime. And they had as high as a 14-point lead. Mercedes Russell, really fine day, hitting the bench. Schaquilla Nunn, really fine day, hitting the bench. So tomorrow will be a day off, and then Monday night, it'll be Tennessee and Louisville for the right to advance in the 2017 NCAA tournament. And the scoop shot by Austria. Her career is winding down here today. The senior out of Beaver Creek, Ohio. What's going through your mind right now?
I think a lot of emotions go through your mind because you're sad that it's over. If you've enjoyed your experience, which I'm sure Kelly Austria has, you're sad that this is the last opportunity you're going to be able to get to play with these teammates who you've been through so much with. You're excited about the future potentially of what you're going to do, and but I think more than anything, you feel good that you had the chance to play at this level, and you feel good that you had the opportunity to have the experiences that you've had.
Grant Allen, second team All-Atlantic 10 tournament, her career coming to an end. I'll tell you, I spent the last 10 minutes of my final game on the bench. I blew my ACL and MCL in the final 10 minutes of my final game.
So some other emotions there too.
Well, it was, you know, I cried, and it wasn't pain of the injury, it was pain that I was done.
Yep.
Well, Doris, if I could go back in time and sit with you on that bench, I tell you, kid, it's going to work out just fine. Don't worry so much about the knee.
Yeah.
Just keep on working on everything else. And we've got 30 seconds to go. And the Shields at the line, adding to her 23 points if she can stick a couple of foul shots here. Certainly the player of the game. She's played 37 minutes.
Be very curious to see how Jeff Wall schemes. We'll be at practice tomorrow, get a look at some things. If you look at what he did in the semifinals against Notre Dame at the ACC, opened that matchup in the triangle in two, took on a Gumbunwale and Mabry, and you know, you said it, he's one of the best tacticians in the game, and so I'm curious to see the game plan come to shape over the next 36 hours or so.
Well, the final seconds of this fourth quarter, Tennessee can begin to make preparations as Burdett knocks one in, but just not enough of those for the junior point guard. She will be back next year for a Dayton team. You can expect to see them again in the NCAA tournament. Tennessee has won it 66-50.